Of course, government spending often affects the Mexican people, the vast majority of whom are mestizos, or those of mixed heritage. Specifically, some of their ancestors came from Spain, some from Africa as slaves, and some were Native Americans. Being a mestizo is generally seen as a matter of pride. Mestizos see themselves as being descended from proud and accomplished peoples. Approximately 10% of Mexico's citizens count themselves as Indians. But to Mexicans, being an Indian is both a matter of ancestry and traditional ways of living. If a person speaks a Native American language, wears traditional clothing, lives in a traditional house near or in a village where many others consider themselves Indians, then they are Indian, even if they may have mixed ancestry. Because so many Mexicans have blended their Indian and Spanish heritages, Mexico has created one of the most colorful and interesting cultures in the Americas. That culture is reflected in many ways, including its various types of distinctive music. Mexican dances are also distinctive. The country's beautiful cathedrals reflect its unique culture too. And so does its public art. Mexico's people speak a form of Spanish that contains thousands of words taken from native languages. But about 5 million speak only their native language, of which there are more than 3 dozen. Most Mexicans, about 75%, live in towns or cities. Mexico is, in fact, a land of large metropolitan centers. It has 80 urban areas with more than 200,000 people, 11 of which have more than 1 million residents. Mexico City, with an estimated population of more than 20 million people in its metropolitan area, is, by some estimates, the world's largest city. The country's urban areas have grown rapidly in recent years because increasing numbers of people have moved to cities from the impoverished countryside to find work and a better life. 1/4 of all Mexicans, most very poor, live in rural areas. The majority of them are barely able to eke out a living. If and when they do move to a city, their living standards seldom improve, especially in bad economic times. With only a few years of schooling and no city skills, they generally live in the poorest neighborhoods, areas without electricity and running water, but sometimes plenty of dirty air. Air pollution is a serious problem in many of Mexico's big cities, including the capital, where some of the world's most polluted air is found. Even so, almost all urban areas in the country have modern high-rise buildings and examples of world-class modern architecture, some with distinctly Mexican characteristics. Museums, hospitals, and libraries, along with clean and orderly neighborhoods, are also found in Mexican cities. There, members of a growing middle class live much as their counterparts do in the U.S., Canada, and elsewhere. Regardless of class, almost all Mexicans enjoy the country's lively festivals. One of the most important, held in mid-September, commemorates the country's declaration of independence from Spain in 1810. In addition to Independence Day celebrations held throughout the country, another festival honoring Mexico's patron saint, Guadalupe, is an important religious holiday. Almost every town in Mexico has a holiday for its own patron saint too, often marked by elaborate displays. This one has been made from locally grown plants. Mexico is primarily a Roman Catholic country. more than 90% of all Mexicans are members of the Roman Catholic Church.